you better call somebody. WWPWW is back in session for number 14?
Number 14.
Number 14. Talking about Raw and SmackDown this week.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a whole lot to talk about, but, a lot of Survivor Series kind of pushing, and, this is what's going to happen, and a lot of shaping up for Survivor Series that next week's shows, the go-home shows, should, in theory, be good.
Seems like they're setting it up to be good. It looks like they're setting it up to be good. And yes, elephant in the room, Donald Trump was elected president last night.
Oh, he was? I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, apparently I had no idea that this was going on, this presidential election thing. I had no idea this was going on.
Yeah,
it sucks, but, this isn't a political podcast. Yeah, it sucks that he's president, because he's a buffoon. But,
he took a stunner from Stone Cold, so we're okay.
I would have rather had Stone Cold run.
Well, there's always in 4 years.
Yeah, there's always 2020. But this isn't a political podcast, Sucks, but we could just move on. We're America. We've this will probably be like the Zachary Taylor or Ulysses S. Grant presidency, be remembered as, well, that was a stupid presidency that happened, but
It's speaking of filler. I mean, both of these shows,
yeah.
outside of these shows and the election of Donald Trump seems like filler. I think it seems like America was just fed up with what the Democrats have done for the last 8 years, and so they wanted change. At least that's what everybody, when they were running the polls on the exit polls, they were saying, we want change, we want something different, and so that sounds like what they want. The reality is, it may not be what they really want. We'll see.
Yeah.
He hasn't started his presidency. We know
he hasn't
his
chosen
character.
his candidate
yet.
We
haven't seen his cabinet. We don't know who else he's going to choose. I mean, in the past, he's been very, very much a Democrat, and so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think we'll be surprised either way. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
But again, speaking of filler, I think these next 4 years might just be filler years. We'll see what happens.
Hopefully, and also just Democrats and Republicans, both of you, be gracious in defeat and victory, both of you.
Yeah, stop being jerks to each other. Yeah, absolutely right, Caleb.
Okay.
We're not gonna go. We're not gonna punch each other. I didn't vote for Trump. I'm assuming you didn't vote for Trump.
Nope.
Anyway,
Trump supporters, quit baiting Hillary supporters. Hillary supporters, quit taking the bait.
Quit crying. Oh, boo-hoo, boo-hoo, we lost. Let's move on with our lives. There's great wrestling to be had.
There was.
Except for this week.
That's what this podcast is about. That's like, see, watching SmackDown this morning, maybe be like, if I stay positive, if I stay optimistic, by watching stuff like wrestling, I think in the present I'm okay. So, we need entertainment in harsh times. So, with that being said, let's go into wrestling.
Yeah, I think for me. Sorry, to talk about both shows overall, I hope more shows are done in the UK and Scotland and all those places out there, because the fans
Australia
would be great. Like, just do more outside of the US, because there wasn't as much jerkiness. I mean, there was people supporting Bayley.
The fans have a different energy.
Yeah, and it's like, yes, Roman got booed, but it wasn't like near enough as if he wrestled in the United States.
Yeah.
And so you're right, it's a different atmosphere. And so as far as that goes, thank you, Glasgow, for being great wrestling fans. And WWE, keep going overseas, keep going to the UK, keep going to the different countries, because they enjoy your product, we enjoy your product, and so it's nice to see good fans instead of the United States fans.
Yeah.
And being jerks all the time.
Yeah, I thought the crowd had a great, like I said, that it was a different energy, but it was a great energy, like because it was the same venue for SmackDown and Raw, and the crowd just was really into it, and not in a hey let's chant you can't wrestle, or this guy sucks, or she sucks, or let's boo her every time she talks, or let's boo this guy every time he hits somebody. There was some of that going on, but The fans, it was more like, hey, we're excited about this. It wasn't like America where they kind of get bombastic and stuff like that, which speaks a lot too about our character. But let's not get into that.
Yeah, because that would be a whole political comment. That's not our bag.
Yeah. And also just like in terms of like not just politics but like sports, like
yeah,
sports fans, American sports fans are like that. Like Roman said that he's used to getting booed because he's like, I played college football for 4 years.
Oh yeah.
I'm used to getting booed out of stadiums 3 times as big as the indoor arenas that we're at. So, but yeah, totally do this, man. Do this more often. Go to they probably have to go to English speaking countries.
Yeah, probably.
So yeah, keep going to those places. Go to England. Come back to Scotland. Go to Ireland. Go to Australia. Go to New Zealand. I don't Jamaica. They probably have an indoor sports stadium, right?
Yeah, probably. If not, it'd be awesome to wrestle on the beach or something. I know those are weird.
Bring
places,
back Bash to the Beach.
Yeah, seriously.
In Jamaica.
That's right.
Yeah, Honolulu, man, and stuff. Guam, why not? Guam?
We should be bookers.
We should be bookers.
We're going here this time.
Yeah, we're gonna do some. Dominican, Guam, Puerto Rico.
All of you. Alaska.
Do the Caribbean. Do the whole Caribbean.
That'd be awesome.
A tour for WWE, which that's a good idea. But yeah.
So yeah, okay. Well, let's move into Raw. To be honest with you, there's not a whole lot of conversation to be had about either of these shows. And also, Hulu didn't put the greatest stuff on there.
Yeah, they've been bad about that recently. I've heard.
They didn't put the cruiserweight stuff, like Noam Dar's debut. They didn't put on there. I'm hoping they'll put it on like main event or something, but I didn't get to see that. So what we got to see was basically all, and like I've already said, filler for Survivor Series. The first thing that happens is Stephanie McMahon comes out and basically tries to rally the troops. And so, what did you think of everything that happened there?
I just thought it was funny because she keeps saying like oh yeah, we're in fierce competition with SmackDown Live and we're cutting each other's throats and stuff like that. It's like not really, like just because you're saying that you are doesn't mean that you are. Like, so that's kind of funny, but it's to set up this SmackDown versus Raw tag team matches and stuff. So it's kind of fun to. So it's kind of fun in that aspect, just to set up the oh yeah, all these the Raw and SmackDown clashing and all this and all these different matchups and stuff like that, which you actually totally called something that we'll get to in a little bit. So props to you for that. But yeah, it's just funny though, because it's just like yeah, we're it's like, oh, we're at war with SmackDown. Like, we are? Wait, what? Like, but yeah, that's all. Like,
yeah, you're absolutely right. And because they could have been doing this all along, because when they first did the brand split, it was sibling against sibling, and they haven't really touched that.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
At all. Well, maybe once or twice outside of that, but now they had a chance to do that, and they didn't do it. They didn't do it justice. They tried to do it, but I don't think anybody cares. I think we just want to see the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
I think diehard fans who like the Survivor Series the way it used to be, because to be honest with you, I haven't seen a Survivor Series since I've left, and so for coming back and this being the first Survivor Series I've seen since I came back to wrestling, I'm ecstatic that they've gone to this Team Raw, Team SmackDown, these the warring teams again. So I really appreciate that and excited to see it. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Stephanie McMahon comes out and it's annoying. It's annoying to see her like, oh, Raw and SmackDown, blah 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 blah.
SmackDown Live. It's like, oh, don't do that. Like,
which apparently wasn't live this week, so you guys know. Apparently they taped it this week.
Oh, interesting.
Probably because of the time change and all that stuff, all the time differences. But so yeah, so she brings out all of the Team Raw, and I love what Kevin Owens and Jericho are doing. We're the team captains and stuff like that. And so, did you have any other thoughts about that? The conversations between Jericho
and all them, that
whole
thing. I liked that. I thought it was fun. It was great. I figured Seth Rollins would be the next guy to come out, and I like they used Roman Reigns pretty well this week, because I don't think he said anything. Like, I don't
Maybe
remember
he said
him.
one line, but it wasn't much.
Yeah, I can't remember. You know, it's just like, yeah, what have you even been saying? Make him like John Wick.
Yep.
Hardly say anything, just do awesome stuff, you know. And like for that whole promo, I think he didn't say anything. He just stood there like looking, you know, intimidating stuff. Just stand there, be cool, okay. And then he just did that, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you know, and the whole thing with Chris and Kevin, like they're just still perfect. And you know, and it's funny when Kevin started saying the, you know, do you hear what I'm saying to you right now? Like they started said it in unison, like that killed me, and that was funny.
That was really funny.
That was great. And but yeah, and then they started clashing and stuff. I kind of like that. It's kind of funny that, you know, it's like, you know, we're supposed to be a team, but they just like can't get along at all, which is funny. And I know a lot of people are annoyed by it, but I actually kind of get a kick out of it. And it's like, yeah, these guys have been in contention for so long that they can't just overnight be tag team partners and stuff. So it makes sense from a storyline perspective to me.
You got to keep the obvious.
Yeah.
And that's what they did with this. You're absolutely right.
And then I love that they were like, oh yeah, well guess what? We're gonna have a Fatal 5-Way match later on. So I was like, I don't hate that. I'm sure some people will, but I don't hate that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree. It was like, okay, Fatal 5-Way. I'm like, okay. I wasn't one of those people who was like, do we really want a Fatal 5-Way? Do we really need a Fatal 5-Way? I really wanted to see a good Fatal 5-Way, which all 5 of these guys, if it was like a way before a pay-per-view, I think this match would have been awesome, because they could have done anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I think now, since it's too close to the pay-per-view, they had to hold
Play it a little
punches,
safe.
play safe, which I understand.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully they come back to this and do something like this later. But man, let's go ahead and talk about the Fatal 5-Way.
Okay, yeah. I was just going to say, why don't we just do that anyway?
Yeah, and so we get the Fatal 5-Way, and my biggest issue with it was, that they're trying to set up, I don't know if they're trying to set up a feud between Strowman and Reigns, but nobody cared about that. Like they were staring at each other, and I want to see that match. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I do too. It looks like it could be interesting.
But they just stood there forever, just staring at each other. And what did you think about the match as a whole?
The match as a whole, I thought was really good. I thought that was a little curious.
Mm-hmm.
That was a little odd, just having them, like, yeah, have a stare down. That's cool, but yeah, that stare down was just a little too long.
Yep.
You know, like when Big Cass and Roman did it in the Fatal 4-Way. The Kevin Owens one, like, what was that, like 2 months ago, something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Like, you know, that was great. The crowd loved that. Like,
Yes.
they just kind of, they knocked somebody out of the ring, and then they were in there together. They just turned around and stared at each other. The crowd loved that. I love that. And this, at first, I was like, oh, cool. But then I was like, somebody do something, like, after a while.
I don't know if that was, like, because what ended up happening is Rollins and KO, or, yeah, Rollins, KO, no, sorry, KO and Jericho come into the ring, and then, like, I don't know if they missed their mark or something, because they just stood there, and then eventually
they must have just been like, we're supposed to be interrupted, but, you know, I don't know, but yeah, like, it was cool, but then, like, it was just like, okay, it's going on too long, what's going on? Somebody missed their cue or something, probably, but yeah, I thought it was good. It had some good spots. They teased, the thing, whatever it is, whether it's a potential team up or another potential feud or what it is with Rollins and Reigns.
Yep.
They teased that again, which I loved. That is probably my favorite thing of the match besides the finish, because I liked the finish. I thought it was a good finish.
I agree.
Yeah, like the way that they just kind of looked at each other just a couple times throughout the match, just as in a way of like,
Just like, going to fight you, or are we going to be
and cool, then I hated that the table was there, and they were just kind of standing there with Strowman and stuff, and then what's this? And then Rollins is doing the get him up, and then it's like, oh, they're going to do the powerbomb thing like they used to do the triple powerbomb with when they were in the Shield, and stuff like that. And but then we got cheated out of that.
We did.
KO and Jericho. Man. I was like, oh, come on. That would have been cool to see. Because what they ended up doing with the table was stupid, but...
It wasn't that stupid.
Well, how did he get on the table?
Okay. That part was stupid. Strowman, what? Is he just taking a nap or something?
I know.
Yeah, that part was stupid, but
That was stupid about it.
he was like, oh, you're automatically there. Strowman hit his mark. Okay. What were you doing all yeah, I get that.
That
part,
was the stupid part of it.
But the spot was cool.
The spot was cool, but the logistics of
Yeah.
it was silly.
You're right.
But yeah, I don't know where this is gonna go.
Yeah.
But I'm really intrigued by it. So keep it coming. You know, and you know, for a second they were gonna work together. You know, to powerbomb this guy through the tail, and I was just like, that's awesome. Keep doing stuff like this, man. And you know, yeah, just keep doing that.
The more you talk about this match, the more I realize how many storylines could be going on in the same match. Because I'm assuming one of the next feuds is going to be Rollins versus Jericho. They teased that in there. They also, like you said, they teased the whole Shield get back together. They teased Jericho. I mean, the ending to it kind of teases a possible Jericho turning on Owens thing, and then they teased Strowman versus Reigns. So they had so much storytelling in this match. The ending was great. Go ahead and tell us about the ending. It was really funny.
Okay. Yeah, it was. You know, was it Rollins? I think he did the pedigree on Y2J, and was about to pin him, but then KO did a super kick, I think, or something super punch. He did it. Yep. Okay.
He came. It was Reigns. Reigns did a super punch.
No, KO.
Yeah, KO kicks. Yeah, that's right.
I think he super kicked Rollins.
Yep.
And then Roman just like comes out of nowhere, does a pretty good Superman punch.
He does, and then goes out of the ring.
But yeah, I know. I was like, what did he do? But then they showed what happened. Like he actually did it like actually kind of well. He kind of played it off as like when he fell, his momentum carried him out of the ring like he rolled. Like he was like and like couldn't stop. So I was like,
it was too
that was actually like they kind of cut it out of the because they were focusing on Owens, but yeah, I was just like, I was actually kind of a smooth logistical little nuance to there, but yeah, and then KO just lifelessly falls back on top of Jericho and pins him, unknowingly. Accidentally pinning him, which was fantastic.
Funny. So, anything else with that match you want to talk about?
No, it was just really fun. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It was a good way to close out the show, I thought.
Okay, cool. Well, you want to look at my notes, and I don't have everything that I thought was on there. Okay, maybe they didn't do that. Maybe Hulu didn't have the women's stuff on there. So I don't have any notes for the women's stuff. Well, let's go on. You want to talk about the tag team women's situation or the Sami Zayn thing next?
Why don't you go ahead about the Sami Zayn thing?
Okay.
Because you.
Well, yeah. When we were thinking about who could face Dolph Ziggler, Sami Zayn is the only name that really popped into my mind. The only name that I could see Dolph Ziggler wrestling, and so yeah. So we have this backstage conversation between Steph and somebody on the phone, which was it? Who was on the phone? I forget.
I think it might have been Foley, but
Foley or
I think
Shane.
it might have been. I can't remember.
So she's on the phone. She's like, yeah, we can't be there for SmackDown, but if you want to bring those guys over to Raw, they can come be on the show next week, and we can talk about this stuff. And Sami Zayn kind of interrupts her. And I love what she says to him because she's playing super heel this week. Apparently, she's like, your presence is irritating. That spot belongs to Rusev. So here's what we're gonna do: we're gonna have you versus Rusev, and whoever wins goes against Dolph Ziggler at Survivor Series. What did you think of that and the match?
I thought the backstage segment was funny. Yeah. That she just was like, I find you annoying, your stupid, your hat, your stupid ska music, which I was totally just like, is that by the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones or Smash Mouth? Like, who sings that? Like, but I like it though. Like, I'm an unapologetic fan of ska music. Don't try to change me.
Yeah, me too. Straight up.
But yeah, I thought it was funny, and then she was like, but, there's like the but, this is good for business, so, to quote her husband, this is what's best for business. Yep. And she's like, you and Rusev are going to face each other to see who. So, yeah, I thought the backstage segment was nice.
I do too.
I thought it was done really well. Yeah, Stephanie can't get a lock on her. Is she a heel? Is she a face?
It just changes every week.
It
Whatever
changes
she
every
feels
week.
like, she's the quote-unquote boss.
I know, it's like, yeah.
Yep.
But in a way, it's like, yeah, bosses can be like that.
Yes. Yes, they can.
One day a boss can be a total heel. One day your boss can be a babyface.
Yeah.
Like, one day you hate your boss. One day your boss is cool. But and then the match itself, both of these guys are great. Don't think they've had a bad match between them that I can remember anyway. And the match was a lot of fun. Love Sami Zayn.
Yep.
He's great. And Rusev, he's fantastic. He's a fun heel.
He is.
He's great. Like I always say, he's a throwback to like Nikita Koloff or Ivan Volkov or whatever his name was.
All those guys, all the quote unquote foreign guys.
Yeah, all the 1980s communist Russian evil bad guys from wrestling in the 80s.
Crazy.
He's kind of calling back.
He just can't let that go. He can't let evil foreigners go.
I know. Oh, Bulgaria is basically Russia, so.
I wonder who he voted for. Anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, it was fun, man. Like, I just don't know how to describe it. But these guys just like, it doesn't seem like, oh, it's TV, we can go easy. It just seems like, no, let's put on a fun match, man. And which is good. So.
Agreed. And so because Sami Zayn wins, we get a situation where Dolph Ziggler and Sami Zayn will wrestle at Survivor Series for the Intercontinental Championship. And so whoever wins will bring the Intercontinental Championship to either SmackDown or Raw. What do you think is going to happen?
Bold prediction?
Yeah.
My bold prediction? Even though on this card we have Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg 2,
mm-hmm.
I think Sami Zayn versus Dolph Ziggler has match of the night potential.
I agree.
And that is my prediction. Because I don't care who wins or loses.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a great match. I totally think it's going to be a great match. I think Dolph will probably retain it because I think Miz will maybe get involved in it or something. Whether I don't know if like the ref will be distracted and he'll like
something will happen.
So I think that it'll be something Miz related. He'll be like, well, why'd you help, Dolph Ziggler win his title back? Because I want a shot at that title. It's mine, or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, we have a possible interesting situation. It's not interesting because it always goes for the champion. But next week on SmackDown Live, The Miz and Dolph wrestle for the championship.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in theory, The Miz could win and go possible. I'm assuming it would change. The Miz would face Sami Zayn.
Mm-hmm.
It's a possibility. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, probably.
But it's a possibility.
Probably not.
And so I think you're right. I think Dolph Sami will be great until I think Miz. I absolutely agree with you. I think Miz is going to have to go in there to make somebody lose by DQ because the title won't change place there.
Mm-hmm.
Either that's going to happen or we'll talk about the cruiserweight situation. The cruiserweight situation is the Brian Kendrick. I love that. By the way.
Yeah, me too. It's funny. For some reason, it reminds me of when sometimes old people will say the Facebook.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that for some reason.
The Dairy Queen. My mom always says the Dairy Queen. It's like, I know there's not more than one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's fun. Oh, yeah. A bunch of my older relatives who live down south, it's always, we're going to the Walmart. Or, we went to the Pizza Hut. It's like, oh, my gosh.
and so, yeah.
It's so adorable.
It is. It's adorable. And I like that Brian Kendrick is the Brian Kendrick. But he faces Kalisto. And so I think what's going to happen is to make the Cruiserweight Championship a little bit better, is I think they're going to switch championships. I think the Intercontinental will go to Raw, and I think the Cruiserweight and all that goes with it comes to SmackDown Live. I was watching somebody, and they think that's going to happen because the 205 Live is going to be after SmackDown Live. And then after that will be the Talking Smack. And so the theory is they're going to have the 2 hours of SmackDown Live, Then an hour after that will be the Cruiserweight 205 Live, and then after that is the Talking Smack. And so logistically, and thinking on business terms, it would be better for them to SmackDown to have cruiserweights so that they can pump a little bit of life in the cruiserweights on SmackDown Live, and then have people go get the go get WWE online, their stuff, pay the $10 a month or whatever to watch the 205 Live, just to kind of breathe life into that. And so I think that's what's going to happen. I think the Intercontinental Championship, it should stay on SmackDown Live, but I think it goes to Raw for a while, and I think it's going to be one of those, along with the U.S. title, that'll switch places back and forth because they're the inconsequential championships, and they're going to build the brand, the Cruiserweight brand, around SmackDown Live. That's my theory. That's my thought. I don't know what you thought about all that. If you've thought about that or not.
No, I didn't. That's a good point, though. That's a cool idea that they should definitely consider. It does make sense to me too, man. It totally does. It's not a bad idea.
And Sammy needs a championship. I also think that, to be honest, I think Raw needs more championships than SmackDown Live. Because it's a longer, unless they cut off an hour, it's a longer show. But anyway, that's my thought. And so we do get, because of Sammy winning, we do get Dolph Ziggler versus Sami Zayn for that. And so that solidifies that. But we also got the Brian Kendrick versus Kalisto, which they had a match. The Cruiserweights had a match on Raw. I didn't get to see it. Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Go ahead and talk about that.
It was really good. It was a lot of fun. I think it was Rich Swann and Sin Cara against Noam Dar and Brian Kendrick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's who it was.
I think you're right.
I couldn't remember. I'm pretty sure it was Sin Cara with Rich Swann.
Yeah,
I knew it was Rich Swann.
It's Sin Cara because Sin Cara is beating more people up backstage.
Yeah, it was a really good match. Some great high flying stuff that you'd expect. It was pretty awesome. And they planted some seeds for a Noam Dar Brian Kendrick feud, it seems.
Right on.
Because it's like, wait a minute, you're putting Noam Dar, the hometown kid, home country kid, he was raised in Scotland and stuff like that, and they love him over there. Like, they went nuts when he came out, like, ridiculous. And so he, there was a mix-up or something like that. They ended up losing. Brian Kendrick, got mad, started berating him, and then Noam Dar just clocked him and stuff, and everybody loved it, went crazy. So it's like, that could be the next potential feud for Kendrick and stuff. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. But the match was really, really good.
Good.
Man, it was good. It was good. No T.J. Perkins this week, as far as I know, and no Cedric Alexander. So interesting. But yeah, it was really good. If you have a chance to check it out somewhere.
Yeah, hopefully they'll put it on, like I said, main event or something.
It's just it's like, why do they have to cut it for Hulu? I don't get it, man. It's weird. Or at least cut the stupid stuff. Leave the awesome stuff in.
So we'll move from the cruiserweights to. I did find the women's thing, but we'll go to the tag team situation. What did you think of the promo that all the tag teams had?
This was probably my favorite promo.
Okay.
Honestly, I loved this. This was funny. Enzo, as always, Enzo and Cass are great.
Yep.
And Cesaro had a couple good jabs that I liked.
Cesaro was my favorite of the whole thing. Like, he was hilarious. He was right on brilliant.
He was good, man. And they were all just kind of ganging up on the club and making fun of them. And then, I loved this. Yep. I absolutely loved it. New Day came out dressed up in Braveheart gear.
Mm-hmm.
And they were riding their stick unicorns, and and instead of a trombone,
it wasn't
it was a bagpipe.
It was the bagpipe, or the cousin.
Yeah, Irish cousin. Was it Atticus or something?
Agnes.
Agnes, that's what it was.
Scottish cousin Agnes.
Yeah,
that was brilliant.
That was fantastic. Like, these guys were on the top of their game, and then they just came in and it was awesome. It was great.
Yeah, it was really, really funny. don't think. Yeah, they did show the match. The New Day versus the Club was right after.
Mm-hmm.
You know, New Day's like, you know what, we've got a match with you. We had it signed just so you guys can, so we can show you guys what's what. And so the match was a safe match. The Club goes over though.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you think about the Club going over?
I thought that was good. I thought that was what was best for them to do because there was really no reason for the New Day to win it. I mean, they've been retaining their tag team titles every which way, a couple times by by intentional DQ, which makes no sense to me.
Yep.
But yeah, I thought the Club winning was was the right call, and and the match, yeah, it was safe. It was there were some good spots. Like I always love it when Big E like has the guy tied up and starts doing the New Day rocks thing, spanking him. Yeah, like, that's always funny. And yeah, I just thought the whole segment was a lot of fun. All the tag teams getting together, just knocking each other. And I once again, I'm actually totally okay with how everything between Sheamus and Cesaro has gone because they're continuing to produce so much funny stuff. I love when they're like walking down the ramp when they were introduced and they're like constantly like cutting in front of the other one to.
Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah, their shtick is, I like it. I think it's yeah, absolutely. And so yeah, I thought it was funny. I thought it went on a little bit too long, but not crazy long. I think New Day came out and saved the bit, in my opinion. But in the ring we had the Golden Truth, and apparently they didn't show this on Hulu, but apparently backstage, I don't know if you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Backstage they fell for the Shining Stars shtick of get a timeshare in Puerto Rico, which is funny. It's interesting that they're pushing Shining Stars. I don't get it myself. I don't understand why they're constantly every week feeding us the Shining Stars, which is fine. I think it's funny, but why? I don't understand why. So any more about the tag team stuff that we need to talk about?
Yeah, the backstage thing with with the Golden Truth was funny. Mainly because I realized I was just like, why is Gold Dust morphing into John Lithgow from Third Rock from the Sun? His facial expressions, his mannerisms, his voice, I'm just like, he's turning into Dick Solomon.
You're not kidding.
From Third Rock from the Sun.
That's funny.
And so that's why that segment was funny to me, because I was like, what? Oh my gosh, he's John Lithgow.
That's funny. I never would have thought of that. But you're absolutely right. He is John Lithgow. His voice especially, man. He sounds just like him. So we move from that to the last thing that we're going to talk about, probably about Raw, the women's team. And so they've set up, Raw set up, here's the men's team. They have issues. Here's the tag team, our Raw's tag team. They have issues. And now here is our women's tag team. And they have one issue. Well, not really, but they have issues. And so, do you want to talk about that, or do you remember anything about that? Because for me, it was kind of not very memorable. I don't remember much about it.
The funniest part was the crowd constantly interrupting Charlotte. That was hilarious to me. Yep. I was just like, what are you even saying? Those accents are terrible. Like, that killed me. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was funny how every time she talked, they stopped her. Like, I was just like, you know what? That's funny. I don't care. Like, that was funny. Like, she's a heel. That's what's supposed to happen.
Yep.
And she totally played it up well and stuff like that. And if she was frustrated, like genuinely frustrated and mad, she did a good job of channeling it into her character and not snapping and like being like angry at them. So props to her for that. But it was just funny that they were all just like nuts over Bayley and stuff like that, which is great because Bayley's awesome.
And I think Bayley deserves it because I think there's some people that think that WWE is souring on the Bayley character, and when they come into Glasgow and they're like, no, we love Bayley, we love her to death. We love NXT. It's essentially is what they're saying. We love NXT and we love Bayley, and so it's nice to see that there is part of the WWE universe that still respects good, talented workers, and so. But I don't know how long that segment that I sent you went on for, but man, it seemed like it went on forever.
It did go on for a while, and yeah, Nia Jax came out. She's on the team, and then Alicia Fox came out, and she's on the team and stuff like that. And just Alicia Fox, stop being so pretty all the time. Just stop it.
She is.
And then they were like, oh yeah, Dana Brooke is the next, and then just like,
funny.
and then Michael Cole just like, actually no, this is the real fifth member, and it was Sasha Banks, and so then we got a little 3-on-3 tag match,
which I didn't get to see.
Oh, that's too bad because it was pretty decent, man. It was pretty good, and just kind of like with the Fatal 5-Way, it showed a lot of potential for storylines,
Mm-hmm.
and now you and I kind of had the same. We both kind of deduced that maybe they had Charlotte go over at Hell in a Cell because they want Bayley to be champion and they want to have it be against. They want her to go up against Charlotte, who's a big time heel. So
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're gonna do that. Maybe I don't know, but
yeah, because there's also a moment I think during the whole meeting process where Sasha and Nia kind of had a stare down, which I think that's it'd be a good opportunity to see that. I don't know if I've ever.
I would be interested by
It'd
that.
be a good feud, a fun feud.
It would.
So anything else you want to talk about that or the Raw overall?
Overall, I no Goldberg or Brock. We had some promos and stuff and to talk about it, which once again promos were fantastic.
Yep.
Man, those editing guys are awesome.
Production is great.
Yeah, so good. But overall, I feel like this was a great addition overall. Well, not great. It was really good, way better than it had been for a while. Because I feel like, when Goldberg came back for the first time, and he made his big return, I feel like that episode was a great episode of Raw, sandwiched in between 3 cruddy kind of episodes of Raw. And so I feel like this one is a good step towards Survivor Series. So hopefully, next week on Raw, Brock and Goldberg will meet face to face on the go home shows. So hopefully next week on Raw will be pretty good.
Yeah, definitely a filler show, and I'm not gonna hate on it like a lot of the videos out there. I didn't hate it. Like I said, it's a filler show. It's they have to carry all over all of their storylines, not just between the two brands, but between all their characters too. And so they're doing an okay job of doing that. And so out of 5 IPAs, Stone Cold IPAs.
Stone Cold Steve Austin's Broken Skull IPA. Get a bottle now. What? Speaking of which, AJ Styles does a ridiculously awesome Stone Cold Steve Austin impression. Check it out. Anyways, what?
No, seriously, what?
But yeah,
out of 5 IPAs,
Broken Skull IPAs, I would give this, maybe 2.5 or 3. Because the stuff that was good about it was really, really good. And the stuff that was bad about it was minor. So. Yeah,
there wasn't a whole lot of miscues. I would give it a 2 just because there wasn't a whole lot of wrestling. Some of the stuff annoyed me, but it wasn't like earth-shattering annoying. And so yeah, I'd give it a 2 as well, or I'd give it a 2 instead of a 2.5. So we move from that
to SmackDown.
So equally as both of these shows took the cookie cutter approach to kind of a filler show, and so they did similar things on this. But we start off our SmackDown Live with AJ Styles coming out, and why don't you go ahead and explain what happened and what your thoughts on this opening promo is? AJ Styles.
Actually, you take this one.
Okay.
I feel like I've been talking too much. So.
No, you haven't been talking. You haven't been talking too much. We're about the same, I think. AJ Styles comes out and it's all it is setting up for the Survivor Series, and so this whole thing was AJ showing off who's going to be in their Survivor Series team, and so AJ comes out and starts cuts a little bit of a promo. This mutant turtle James Ellsworth. James Ellsworth looks like a foot and stuff like that. And so that's one of the things I think AJ Styles is getting better and better and better at, is just this, I'm a bad guy, I'm a heel, but I'm a cocky, like it's a funny take on a heel. It's my kind of a heel where it's just like, I hate things, I hate people, and so now I'm gonna crush you type thing. And so it was really cool to see that. And then the SmackDown team comes out. Baron Corbin comes out first. Then the Wyatts, Wyatt, Orton, and Luke Harper come out. And then Dean comes out and goes back and gets James Ellsworth.
I loved that.
Which was pretty awesome. He cuts a small little thing on AJ. He's like, if you got a problem with James Ellsworth, you got a problem with Blasco. And you got to go through me if you got a problem with him. And so that's really, really fun to see. I like that dynamic a lot. It adds a little bit to Dean, kind of the big brother type feel to him, which I like a lot. He's still kind of, later on, he's just, when they say that Ellsworth's the mascot, he's just like, oh, Dean's like, oh man, oh, he's always in my way type thing, which is a big brother type emotion. So that was kind of fun. And then Baron Corbin just leaves. He's like, I'm not in this. And so they kind of tease that maybe he's really hurt, but I don't know, like, because that match with Kalisto later on was kind of, it wasn't really a match. It was a brawl. It was fun to watch. It was kind of cool. Kalisto coming out, being all heelish and stuff. But before we get to that, what did you think of everything that's going on with the men's team of
yeah,
SmackDown?
it was, like you said, it was a fun dynamic between everyone. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, the whole kind of big brother, little brother thing is kind of funny. Or like, oh yeah, you have that one friend who can be kind of annoying, but he's my guy. Kind of like that too and stuff. And I thought everything you said, man, it was funny. It was great. I just love how like AJ just like gets so mad when they say that he's gonna be the mascot. He's like, oh, and he just like throws the microphone. He's like so sick to death. He just doesn't know what to do, and he's, that was funny. That was great.
Yeah, and so then Shane comes out and says, yeah, you're the mascot of Team SmackDown Live. It's kind of interesting on how all these teams have their kind of manager-esque type things. The women's of SmackDown will have Natalya. The men of SmackDown will have James, and then Dana Brooke will be for the women's, which is kind of interesting. So I don't know if that'll play into any of the Survivor Series stuff or not, but we'll see. And so we see Baron Corbin and Shane back, and he's like, I'm not interested in helping you. And then he's like, oh, Corbin, you're gonna wrestle Kalisto. And let's go ahead and talk about that. That's not until later down.
We might as well.
Yeah, since we're there. What did you think of the match and all this, like the match and the knee stuff? And
I thought it was good to finally see all that stuff from several months ago pay off of Baron Corbin attacking. Like, for whatever reason, he just always seems to, catch Kalisto when he's like on a phone call or maybe eating a sandwich or something. He always somehow catches him off guard, in the, back corridors of these indoor sports arenas and corners him, and then just like holds him against the wall, and then just says how he's gonna make him pay for, for costing him, and all this, and all this stuff. And it's just like, like, is that gonna go anywhere and stuff? And for a while, it didn't seem like it was. It was like 2-3 months ago all that was going down. Like, I think they said 3, that all that was going down.
And then Kalisto got hurt,
and so it's good to finally see that paying off. And I'm just like, all right, like, that's good that you're finally going through with it and stuff like that. Because Kalisto being hurt kind of, I guess, threw a wrench into it.
Yep.
But I'm cool with how it went down. liked that Kalisto was like, you know what? I think I'm going to return that beating to you now. I'm not going to take the high road. I'm going to give you your just desserts.
Yep.
Here you go. Bam. and
agree.
it was nice. It was nicely done.
I very, very much agree. Yeah, it's cool to see some spark in Kalisto. I don't hate Kalisto. I think he just needs better stuff. And you're right. This feud it came back naturally. And so I think that's one thing. If the story writers can make something come back naturally and continue that, that's great. But if it's unnatural and just kind of feels clunky, then we won't care about it. And so I think that's what unfortunately, a lot of talent has been wasted because of that. But yeah, absolutely. I love all of it. Baron saying his knee popped out of place, and then Kalisto attacking it, and then Frog splashing on his knee, on his leg. It was really, really cool. So I hope they pick this up, or I hope that Baron's not really hurt. So it doesn't seem like he is, but you never know.
Yeah.
And so after that, we come to the last of the tag team tag team matches to get into Team SmackDown Live. It's the Vaudevillains versus Breezango. Pretty safe match. Breezango comes out at the end, and so they are in Team SmackDown Live, and so their team is set, at least for now.
Hopefully there won't be any more changes to any of the teams.
Yeah, because I'm very hesitant to tell everybody at the end what the teams are, because it could change next week.
Yeah.
And so I think we just wait until next
week
to re-say it.
Yeah.
Because that's why I said it last. That's why I said most of them last week. I was like, oh, we're gonna get them solidified next week. And then both shows they had. No, maybe it's just this one. They had people back out, like the Shining Stars come in instead of that. And so we'll just have to wait for that. And so two big. You want to do the news at the end? Two big names coming back next week, or do you want to go now?
No, you do it. You do it.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? No, I'll do the first one.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I am super stoked. The 900th episode of Raw. Two big returns. The first one being one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, the Rated R superstar Edge. Can't wait to hear that awesome theme song and see him come out and flash the rock and roll horns and all that. Probably not going to spear anybody or anything like that. No, he can't. He will break his neck.
Okay.
And so yeah, he's coming back with Cutting Edge, his talk show that he used to do on. So I'm super excited for that. But somebody else.
And they haven't said what capacity. I mean, they said Edge is coming back to do his show. Undertaker is coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Which is huge news. I mean, it was broke, last week or whatever, so we knew that Undertaker was going to come back, but we don't know in what capacity or why. Some people speculate that this is to push him for his last match at WrestleMania. I'm theorizing that somebody. I think he'll go up to Shane and say, you know what, Shane, I'll take your spot on the Raw or on the SmackDown Live roster spot if you don't want to do it. And so I could see that happening, especially since stuff is going on there. And I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. And so we could speculate all we want, but the Undertaker's back next week. It'll be cool to see what happens.
Can't wait to talk about both of those.
Okay. Another throwaway match. I mean, it wasn't a bad match, but it was a throwaway match. Natalya versus Naomi.
Mm-hmm.
The storyline there is, I mean, it wasn't their story.
Mm-hmm.
They were telling Carmelo versus Nikki Bella again.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
I was just like, why didn't they do Nikki versus Natalya? Why didn't they do that? Like,
it makes no sense.
I mean, look, Naomi and Natalya are both really, really talented and stuff, and I don't think anybody will accuse either of them of phoning it in or anything like that, because they're like, no, this is our job, we're gonna go do our job, kind of thing. But yeah, it just kind of didn't make sense as to why. Oh yeah, Nikki or Natalya and Naomi are too many girls with the N. Or,
yes.
I'm sorry, women, ladies, however you self-identify. I don't want to, because
chicks.
chicks, dames. If we're going back to the 1940s, no, ladies, women, sorry, because they're not girls, they're grown women.
Yeah. Women's, I think, is how they identify.
Women's.
The women.
The women's.
The women's, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. So much words.
We're being silly. Yeah. Too many female superstars have their names begin with that.
And they put them all on.
And
SmackDown.
they put them all together in the ring together in this one segment.
Nikki, Natalya, and
I know. Natalya and Naomi had a match, and then Nikki was on commentary. Why? Just cause.
Just cause. Well, I mean, they did say, oh, this is between, they tried, the announcers tried. They're like, Natalya wants to teach Naomi, not a lesson, but wants to say, do you really deserve to be on this spot? Okay, fine. And then Nikki, being the team captain, was out there, and so that's how they played it off.
It was.
But you're right.
It was poor.
Yes.
It was poor reasoning.
Because in Carmella, we'll just call it Narmella, because everybody starts with an N. Carmella comes out, and it's just the continuing feud. Why are you continuing this feud between Carmella and Nikki? I don't care. I mean, I'm fine with it. I don't mind them wrestling, but why do it so close to Survivor Series? Survivor Series. I don't know.
Yeah, it was curious, very curious.
So the match had nothing to do with anything. Naomi wins. Basically it's just a continuing feud between Naomi and not Naomi, but Nikki.
I know, right? It's hard.
Nikki and Naomi. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And so after that, the greatest promo of the night, in my opinion. James Ellsworth and Dean are in the back. Go ahead and tell it, because I'll just laugh, because this is one of the funniest things. Go ahead. Do you remember what happened?
Kinda.
Okay, so James and Dean are back there, and James talking. He says, "Together we have 4 hands.
Oh,
James and Dean. James Dean.
Yeah.
We're the rebels without a cause. Blah 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 blah."
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I remember that now.
And so that was funny, and it was like, oh, and then Daniel Bryan comes in.
Yeah.
Go ahead if you remember.
Okay. Yeah, he was just like, so I think I found somebody who who's who's gonna tag with you. And like, oh really? Yeah. He's a veteran. He has experience against the Wyatts, and his career, his career has been on fire. And then I was just like, oh, it's Kane, and like Daniel Bryan just had this like big grin on his face when he said that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just said that terrible pun. Like,
he had some really fun.
It was good. It was good. But Daniel Bryan seems like the guy who's like, he seems like he's always having fun.
Yep.
And so it's just like, that was great. He's like, yeah, this is a terrible pun, but I'm making it my own. Like, I'm making it funny and stuff. And then James Ellsworth just turns and he's like level with like Kane's belly almost. Like, he's like so small and Kane's so big. He's just don't tag in.
Yeah. Like, so what's our strategy? Don't tag in. That was awesome.
That was great.
Very, very funny. So that goes
and also
on.
Frequently over the course of the night, they had been checking in with Daniel Bryan and Shane, who are trying to find somebody to replace Baron Corbin since he's out of the match in the 5-on-5 SmackDown vs. Raw men's match. They're trying to find a 5th person. So that's going on constantly. That's a running thing backstage throughout the night, trying to find a 5th member and stuff like that.
And Shane gives them this list, which I think plays out brilliantly. It was my second favorite thing of the night. Plays out brilliantly at the end. It gives him a list of, here's the roster, I want you to pick somebody out who's going to be in. And I'm going to go watch the main event.
Mm-hmm. Just calling it a main event doesn't make it a main event.
Yeah, I understand why they call it a main event for a lot of different reasons, but it wasn't the headliner. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the last match of the evening. It was, fine, call it a main event, I don't care. But realize that it's not the main event, because the main event happens at the end usually. And so we get this, and so he goes out to watch the quote-unquote main event. Alexa versus Becky. What did you think of the match?
Like I've said over the past several weeks, these two ladies can do no wrong.
Yep.
They're the women's stuff on SmackDown, to me anyway. Other people may differ. I really don't care. The SmackDown has the better women's division and the better women's matches, and everything that's going on with the women's division in SmackDown is just, in my opinion, worlds better than Raw. And it's mainly, I believe, because of these two, because of Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch. I've enjoyed their rivalry, and they put on a really, really fun match. I really enjoyed it. They just really know each other so well, it seems, in the ring, that they can just go out there and do a really good match. And there was a couple of spots that looked like it actually hurt, and there was like, man, they're selling that really well and stuff, and they did just a great job. So my love deepens.
Yeah, it makes the one thing this match makes me wonder is how long their match would have been at. Was it No Mercy?
No Mercy.
It makes me wonder that. It makes me wonder how many other spots that they would have had in it. There were some really cool spots. The sit out powerbomb from the armbar was really, really cool. Alexa's double knee thing where she does the knees and then flips.
Yes.
Goes forward and then flips backwards. That's really cool to watch.
Yes.
The tornado DDT that some people said was botched, or not botched. It kind of they messed up where she got on the ropes, started to do the tornado DDT, and then just stopped. And then Morrow did it justice and said it was blocked. I don't know why. I don't know if there was a miscommunication between her and Becky, that Becky was going to stop it or something. But then the TDT afterwards, I don't care. That was cool DDT. She does Alexa does a great DDT. But at the end, it has a quote unquote controversial ending. Alexa is in the armbar and she's got her foot on the ropes and she taps out. After that, we see Shane saying, eventually we see Shane saying, the ref called it, it's ref's decisions, whatever. And so it's like, you realize you can overturn this. Like, you realize you can figure something out to not do it.
I think it'll lead to a rematch. I think that's probably what we didn't hear before that. They still be like, whoa, you didn't hear what I said before that.
Yeah.
What I said was, what I said before all that was saying that, oh, you'll get your rematch or something like that.
Yeah, Alexa was on Talking Smack, and basically she tells Daniel Bryan, fix this situation. So essentially, yeah, there will be a rematch. This feud is not over.
And I don't want it to be over.
Yeah, I don't eiteither.
Because this is the first match between them.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I want one, maybe even two more. But just don't overdo it because.
So after the match, we get another promo with Daniel Bryan and Shane, and we're like, are we gonna go to Raw? and Shane's like, yeah, I'm gonna go. And he's like, what about you? You wanna go? And Daniel goes, I have one word for you. Definitely.
It's funny because he was starting to do the pointing thing and stuff.
That bit killed me. That was my favorite line from Daniel Bryan.
That was great.
Because he's like, one word for you. Definitely. I thought that was great. And so Maurice and Miz come in, and Miz is not talking to Daniel Bryan. Because he's a baby.
He's acting like a little child, and it's so perfect. It so fits, and it's funny how he's just like we all had that moment when we were kids where a friend is mad at you, and so they're standing next to another friend, and that friend is talking to them for you, or something like that. And he's just standing there with this, chin up in the air, that was brilliant. I thought that was funny.
It was fun. I did too. And Maurice, I don't know if she meant to say what she said. But she said, I was peed off. And so, that whole thing, so she answers for the Miz and says, he accepts, and Miz is like, what? And so next week we get a title shot for the Miz, and so we'll see what happens there. And then we get another kind of a throwaway match: Paula Cruz versus Curt Hawkins. Curt goes over. Did you have anything to say about that match? It was pretty short.
I did. Just give me a second. I'll try to remember what it actually did. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do with Curt Hawkins. I
don't think they know what they're.
I don't think they're. Yeah, unless he's just gonna be a a guy who just constantly is interrupting people and then gets put in matches and then he gets beat or something
But he didn't get beat.
Or steals victories with roll ups or whatever. But yeah, like I don't hate him. It's just very curious.
Yep.
It's very curious what they're doing with him. I'm really interested to see how the saga of Curt Hawkins unfolds.
That's right.
And
You gotta
they
face
put
the
him.
facts.
Yeah, you gotta face them. So stupid. It's so silly. Just taking all these Chuck Norris facts and
Yep.
changing them to Curt Hawkins.
Yep.
But it's funny.
Yep.
It's stupid, but it's funny. And they put him in there with Apollo Cruz, who I've gone on record as saying, yeah, his personality's kind of bland, but the dude's super athletic and can do great stuff.
And he looks, I think
Super
he's looking,
talented.
I think he's looking better and better every time he's in the ring. I don't know if he's working on a bunch of stuff, and that's the reason why we haven't seen him in the ring as much. But he looked good in the short match that it is.
So yeah, that's all. Just he has a tremendous upside. He really does.
He does. And so
Be interested to see what happens with him in the past year, in the next year.
in the next year, yeah.
I saw what happened this past year. I lived it, idiot. Yeah, what happens with him in this next year if he has a big feud against somebody or something? So
we shall see.
We shall.
And so we go from that to the actual main event.
Yeah.
Of the night, the showstopper or the show ender. We've got the and he kept saying it, the new Wyatt family versus, which is Bray, Orton, and Harper versus Ambrose, Ellsworth, and Kane. What were your thoughts on this match and what preceded?
I didn't pay as much attention to the match because when I watched it earlier this morning because I was getting dressed as I was watching it. But the parts I saw of it were pretty decent and stuff and didn't look bad, But yeah, I'm interested to see. I keep saying it, but I am interested to see how the Orton Wyatt thing will play out because, like I keep saying, I think this is him. This is a ruse by Orton or something like that to get at Bray or something like that. But as it stands, I thought the segment was okay, and the way it ended, I thought was kind of interesting. It wasn't bad. It wasn't. Ellsworth tagged himself in and then was going to do the no chin music, and then ended up getting caught by Bray doing the Sister Abigail to win. So I'm interested to see what that will do.
Yeah, me too. I don't know what. Yeah, sorry, so many different words. Brain, get it together. Okay, I don't know what they're gonna do after this. I think looking at it as a match, Ellsworth did what he needed to do because Dean was pretty much not incapacitated, but he wasn't moving.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when you're told not to do something, but you see an opportunity to help your team, you're going to do it. And so Ellsworth did what he thought he needed to do. And I loved the setup for No Chin Music. The guy is wonderful. And so, yeah, the match, there was a couple cool spots. Dean's Bulldog clothesline was really, really cool. The double clothesline between Bray and Ambrose was really cool looking. But then after all this stuff happens, Shane comes down to break up Wyatt, Orton, and Styles with Dean because it looks like they're gonna attack Dean. But you can't do that because you need to have a team ready to go against Raw. And so Daniel Bryan comes out and gives us some news. Do you want to set up what he said? Because it's brilliant.
Sure, it was. He's saying, I've been looking over this Raw roster, or this SmackDown roster rather. Sorry, brain fart. And I've been looking up, and there's a name in the top left-hand corner, because they said I could choose any name on this list, on this sheet right here.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked up, in the right-hand corner, there's my name, but that can't be allowed since I'm retired or whatever he says.
Because I can't wrestle because of my injury.
And then he's just like, but in the left-hand corner, there's another name.
Yep.
And then everybody's just kind of, oh, you could just hear this collective, oh, and then he goes, so, Shane McMahon, do you accept the fifth the fifth spot on the SmackDown Live Men's Survivor Series team, and and then everybody just started screaming yes, yes, and then he just looked at Daniel Bryan and then started doing the yes thing, and like you said, it was a brilliant way to set it up, and I'm actually excited for that.
I am too. It looks interesting, and like I said earlier, I don't think they're setting up to where the Undertaker would take his spot, which it would be cool to see AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, and the Undertaker as a team. That would be pretty rad. But I agree with you. It's Shane, and it puts that kind of twist of Shane is willing to step into the SmackDown Live brand and defend its brand. Whereas Stephanie's just like, you know what? If you guys don't win this, I'm gonna fire you all. And so it's playing that he's the babyface in the situation, and she's the heel. And so I don't know if you want to talk about what you think of is going to happen. Maybe we should do that next week.
Yeah, I think we
give
should
us one
save
more
that
episode in to see what happens. But is there anything else you want to talk about the SmackDown or Raw? Anything that happened that's kind of tugging on your heart, like, oh man, I wish they would give Ellsworth some more time, give him the belt or whatnot. That's not happening.
No. I think Ellsworth is doing just fine. I think he's fine. I don't know. He doesn't need a push or to get over.
No,
People love that guy. He's fun.
He's over.
Because I feel like they're just like, oh, he's just a fan in there.
He's us.
I was just gonna say, everybody is like, oh, he's like me. He's just regular folk or whatever, But don't know why we needed to go into that, but
because we're tired.
But yeah, it was. I thought SmackDown once again was better than Raw. I thought SmackDown once again was really, really great.
Okay, out of 5 IPAs, Stone Cold IPAs, what would you give SmackDown?
3.5, maybe 4.
Oh wow.
Because I just the stuff that was good about it, I just thought was really, really good.
That's good. Yeah, I'd give it a 3.5. It was well above Raw on everything. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of wrestling, but when there was wrestling, it was great. It was better than Raw's, and the storylines, and I think the acting on SmackDown is way better than the acting on Raw.
Yeah, because when you think about it, they are actors. Yes. I hate it when people are like, oh, he's The Rock, yeah, he's a wrestler. Well, I mean, whether you want to admit it or not, like, because people, just hear like, oh, wrestling, yeah, that's that dumb kids thing, like, yeah. or it's stupid, or it's like these people are actors. Yes. They're portraying characters just in a wrestling ring instead of on a stage or in a movie.
Yeah, and I think that's why NXT, like the NXT's exposure is better for wrestling right now because of that is the NXT wrestlers talk about the training that they have to go through. They have to go through classes to know how to cut a promo, and so it's just acting class. It's acting class on how to help you do these things, and so because of NXT, the doors kind of really flown wide open. These guys are actors. Yes, they're athletes in the aspect of they put their bodies at risk doing crazy, awesome flips and whatever else to entertain us. And like you said at the beginning of the whole thing, that's what we need more than ever is entertainment because half of this nation is crying because of what happened last night, and the other half are rejoicing because of what happened. And if we could just unite around something, and I think that's a good thing about what Obama is saying, what Hillary's saying, and what Donald has said, is that now is the time to unite. And you and I both love entertainment. We love WWE. We love movies. We can unite over something. And so that's what gives us a hope of unity, at least to make things better than what we are thinking right now. And so thank you, WWE, for doing that and for helping us realize that we can laugh, we can have fun, and all of that jazz.
Yeah.
So totally. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I just thought that this was a good setup week for the go home shows next week, which really, really excited to see what happens, and I can't wait to find out what's gonna happen with the Lesnar Goldberg face off, and can't wait to see what Undertaker has in store for his return, because whatever it is, it's gonna be big time.
Yep.
You know. So yeah, man, that's all that happened on Raw and SmackDown. Probably missed, I don't know, a little thing or something, but who cares? Yeah, man, it was good. Some good storytelling on SmackDown, some good wrestling on SmackDown, and Raw had some decent storytelling and some okay wrestling. You know, it's funny that's the bigger show, but in all honesty, it's the inferior show.
It is, in my opinion, right now.
You know, I think a lot of that has to do with the absence of Finn Balor.
That's an interesting point.
I think a lot of it has to do with that. But you know, can't wait to see what happens then. And I'm excited for Christmas, yes, because it's Christmas, but I'm also excited for January because that means Royal Rumble is here.
Yep.
So, and I can't wait to get to that and talk about that. But, you know, hey, we still got 2 pay-per-views in December and Survivor Series coming up next weekend. So
3 pay-per-views all together.
3 pay-per-views coming up before the road to WrestleMania officially starts with the first pay-per-view of the new year, Royal Rumble, which is always my favorite pay-per-view, honestly. Yeah, can't wait for all that, man. So much stuff is gonna happen. So much. And didn't you say that Roadblock is gonna be the Raw's December pay-per-view?
I think that's what they said. Yeah. Yep.
So, okay, cool, good. I'm glad SmackDown got TLC because they announced on SmackDown Live, which we didn't talk about. I just remembered, you know, the match between AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose will be a tables, ladders, and chairs match.
A tender loving care match. That's what it's going to be. Tender loving care. They're going to come out. They're going to hug and.
Whichever one quits hugging first.
Yep.
Loses the title.
Exactly.
Although that would be a very funny idea.
A tender loving care match with table, ladders, and chairs. Yeah. Love taps.
A hug it out hardcore match.
Yes, that would be crazy. We should do that and send it to Bailey and be like, "This is your new gimmick. You will be the hug it out hardcore champion."
I was just about to say that. Be the hug it out hardcore champion. Oh my gosh, I need to tweet at her and tell her that. That'd be fun.
Yes.
Like, yep, this is your belt. Just like a pink fuzzy belt with like her smiley face logo of her hugging herself.
And barbed wire somehow around it too.
With sparkles or something, because she's a very, you know, she's a very bubbly, fun girl. So, you know, I don't know. She seems like she likes sparkles, but you know, what do I know? Bailey, you're likable.
If you didn't get that from Glasgow.
Yeah. We're with Glasgow. We love you, Bailey. You're awesome. So, yeah, that's episode 14 of WWPWW. One of our shorter ones. You know, so, I think we're both kind of talked out and getting tired, so I'm just sitting here rambling, and I can see Jeremy's eyes getting heavy, which is weird because it's only 1:30 in the afternoon, but, well, you know me, you know him. That's right. This is WWPWW. New catchphrase that I just came up with.
Fair enough.
All right, folks. That has been the man.
You know him. Sorry, it took my brain a lot to get there. You know me and you know him.
Exactly.
This has been WWPWW. Oh, you didn't know?
Because you should. Peace.